Hey guys, what is up? I'm back again with another video, and today we're going to be taking a quiz on what saint I am. I've been really wanting to do this for a while, so I'm super excited. We're going to be doing this one right here, and let's get right into it. If you like this kind of content, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I'm going to link the quiz in the description. The link is also right there, but I'm going to link it in the description for y'all. And please comment what saint you guys got. Let's go right into it. All right. Begin the journey. What gender? Male. If you have a free afternoon, you're most drawn to reading, studying, something that fascinates you, volunteering, spending quiet time in nature or prayer, gathering with friends. Okay. These two are honestly the best ones. And I help people in need. But honestly, I'd say spending time with the Lord. In a difficult situation, your first instinct is to analyze the problem, pray for guidance, be bold and take action, reach for comfort. As someone who's gone through a difficult situation, not personally, but with a friend, I've kind of had to be the mediator. I'd probably say comfort and guidance. B or D, but really B, because you kind of got to really be locked in with God and making sure that whatever you're doing is what He wants you to do. So let's go with B. Which virtue do you most admire? Wisdom and depth of understanding, generosity, courage in the face of injustice, joy. Honestly, wisdom. I love someone who's a lover of God, but is also smart. Like, I mean, if I see someone like that, you best believe them and I are talking it up. Let's go with A. Your prayer life is best described as deep, silent contemplation, praying for others. I pray for others. Spontaneous conversations, intense, sometimes overwhelming. Honestly, B and C, really. Because I pray for others a lot in my prayers. And I also feel like a lot of my prayers are kind of like randomly like, hey, God, I'm just talking for a bit. So I'm going to go with C. I also been writing down my prayers in a book. I have it in my drawer here, and it's been really helpful. If you guys want to try it, you guys definitely should. Like, literally just take like what you want to pray for, and like your whole prayer, just write it down as a letter to God. It's genuinely been so helpful for me, and I think it could help you guys too. If you could change one thing about the world, what would it be? End poverty and suffering, restoring truth and wisdom, bring people back to faith, defeating injustice. A and D would be like the biggest ones. I'd say maybe suffering. What setting feels most like home? A quiet chapel or a monastery? Bustling city where people need help? A great library or university? Gathering of friends? I'm gonna go with A or D, especially since I plan most likely on becoming a priest in the future when I'm older. But I do plan on like taking on full on ministry when I'm older and becoming a priest. So A would be good. But I feel like one thing is that I'm not very amazing and quiet. So I'm gonna go with D. I'm very social. When facing your own suffering, you tend to offer it up as a sacrifice to others. Try to understand its meaning and purpose. Face it head on. Find small joys. All right, B and D are the best ones because I feel like with suffering, an important thing to understand is that the Lord is not sending it to you because He hates you, but because He loves you so much that He wants to use this to build you. And I feel like that also kind of ties in with D, so we're going with D. People often come to you for thoughtful advice and perspective, comfort and a listening ear, encouragement to be brave, good laugh, and good company. I mean, honestly, all of these. Like, I'm really just him. All right, I'm sorry. God, forgive me for my arrogantness. But I'd say the most that a lot of people, like my friends, tend to ask me for is maybe advice and laughter. Let's go with A. Which one of these speaks most to your heart? Be still and know that I am God. Very good verse. Psalm 46:10. Whatever you did for least of these, you did for me. I don't know what verse it is, but I know it's in John. Truth will set you free. John 8:32. Rejoice in the Lord always. I think it's First Thessalonians 5:16. I know, no, that's just rejoice always, pray continually. I don't know, but I know it's in the Bible, of course. All these are biblical, like they're from the Bible. All right, which verse speaks to me the most? I'm gonna say A could be one. Honestly, A, just really remembering, despite all the stuff that goes on around you, that you should just stay still and understand that despite everything, God is still God and you're still a person. Greatest spiritual desire: to know God intimately with the depths of your soul, to serve others as Christ served, defend the faith and stand for what's right, radiate God's love. Honestly, D, off the, like D is the best one. When you read scripture, you're more drawn to the Psalms and their raw honesty before God, the Gospels, Revelation. I haven't read Revelation. My friend is like a really big end times guy, but I haven't read Revelation that much. I'm saving it for when I'm like completely done with the Bible, as like the very end. So I'd probably read it then. Um, so what really draws me to look to scripture, especially right now, I've been spending a lot of time in Psalms and wisdom literature. I'm gonna go with the Psalms. Friend is going through a crisis. You sit with them in silence, drop everything and help with practical needs, help them think their options, remind them of God's. So recently, my friend actually did go through something. I'm not gonna speak about it too much, and he's probably watching this too. But one thing that I did do is I emphasized that God still loves him despite everything, despite the wrongdoing, and despite how he's feeling, that the Lord is still there and still loves him and still faithful. So let's go with D. Which historical era would I want to live in? Desert Fathers, early church. Ooh, early church would be nice. Medieval university, Age of the Martyrs. I'm going to say either B or D, because I'd love to see the people who walked with the people who walk with Jesus. I feel like that would be so cool. But also martyrdom, it's a great honor in heaven. Waves are coming in. It's a great honor in heaven. Let's go with D. Your idea to grow spiritually is silent retreat, mission trip, serve those, theology, pilgrimage to a sacred place. Maybe A or B. Because theology is important, but what really matters in growing in your spirit is meditation, prayer, serving, stuff like that. So I'm going to go with B. What is your relationship with silence? I crave it. Silence is where I find God. I appreciate it, but I feel to be called amongst people. I use it to think deeply and work through ideas. I find God more in music, conversation, and laughter. I'm going to get some crap for this, but D is probably the best one. At least for me personally, is someone who is very musical and social. Like, if y'all know, like, a lot of y'all who know me from school know that I usually always have an AirPod in my ear. So, and I like listening to a lot of Christian music. I feel like it really speaks to me, especially music that reminds you of God's love. So, probably D. When you see an injustice, you are most likely to pray fervently for God to intervene, personally help, right, speak and educate, confront it directly. I'd say probably B or A. Most of the time it's a A. If I can do something, probably a B. But usually I'd say A. Which gift do you believe God has given you the most? A deep inner life and awareness of his presence, a tender heart that feels pains for others, sharp mind that seeks truth, a spirit that brings light and hope to others. Honestly, a sharp mind. Because I feel like a lot of this stuff, like posting about God, studying him, has been because of a sharp mind and my want to learn about this because of how interested I am and how much I crave the Lord. I want to truly understand him and help others do the same. 19. How do you handle doubt or uncertainty? Lean into the mystery, focus on loving others, studying and research, truth and press forward. Honestly, D, because sometimes, like, and I go through this a lot, and I'm sure a lot of you guys do, the feeling of doubt and the feeling like God's not really there. So, really, just D, when I've gone through that, and really just pushing and understanding that God is still there, even when it feels like he isn't. So let's go with D. If you could spend a day with any type of person, it would be contemplative monk or hermit, humanitarian working at a refugee camp, brilliant theologian, philosopher, or a joyful community leader. Honestly, a theologian, bro. I would love to sit with a theologian and just have a conversation, have them speak to me, and truly understand God. Because one of my biggest interests now is theology and understanding God. Let's go with C. What do you hope most people remember about you? I lived a life of deep prayer and peace. I truly care for the forgotten. I never stopped seeking and sharing. And I stood up for what's right. I feel like as someone who wants to do what I want to do in ministry, really standing up for what's right is something that's so important, and caring for others, but standing up for what's right is so important, especially in the world that we live in. So I'm going to go with D. Let's see what saint we are. Saint David was a 6th century bishop and the founder of the monastic communities in Wales, most notably at the Glen Rowson, now known as the Glastonbury. He is celebrated for his piety, simplicity, and commitment to the Christian faith, living a life dedicated to the service of God. St. David's legacy continues to inspire generations and is a national hero in Welsh culture. Ooh. All right. Contemplative, charitable, intellectual, courageous, joyful, mystical. So mostly joyful and mystical. I like this a lot. I might choose him for my patron saint. All right, guys. That was the video. Once again, the video is linked in the description. Make sure that you leave a like, subscribe, and please feel free to comment what saint you guys got. I'd love to know. And if you guys like this video, please sub, as I'm going to be posting more videos like this. God bless. Christ is Lord.